or concentrate on specific aspects of the game that you have to prepare for, but in this role it's a little different. It's a lot louder to me.
Now, I've come to quite a few games here this season, and it gets loud here at the Horton Field House. There's no doubt about it, but I'm telling you, I'm glad I have earphones on tonight because these fans are way up there on the decibel level. They are loud, and they are screaming, hollering. It's a great atmosphere.
Right, you know, it's college basketball at its best. This is for the fans. It's a great rivalry. They get into it. It's good for basketball.
Okay, we're going to talk about the starting lineups here in just a few seconds. Let me tell you, this rivalry began back in 1904. The two teams have met 57 times through the years. Bradley holds a 32-25 advantage, but under Bob Donewald, the Bob Donewald-Dick Versace rivalry, I guess you could say, Coach Donewald has won 8 times while losing 6. Everyone now anticipating the starting lineups, and quite naturally a few boos on the side of Bradley and a lot of cheers on the side of Illinois State.
I think it's going to be that way for most of the night, and if Illinois State can stay in this basketball game, the fans will become more and more involved, and they'll really get loud in here, Doug.
This is Redbird basketball.
You can hear it. This game being nationally televised on ESPN. Of course, if you're watching it locally, you're watching it on Channel 19, but everyone else in the nation is catching a glimpse of this great rivalry between Bradley and Illinois State. Here are the starting lineups.
For Bradley, 6'8" from Nowata, Oklahoma, a sophomore, number 20.
Donald Powell will be starting once again at forward for Bradley, a 6'8" sophomore.
Forward for Illinois State, 6'6" from Chicago Christian, a junior.
Here comes the Redbirds. Leading scorer, Derek Sanders, a 6'6" junior from Chicago.
From Havana, Illinois, a sophomore, 34.
Trevor Trimpe wearing number 34 tonight. 6'7" sophomore from Havana. A lot of folks from Havana watching the telecast tonight, I'm sure. And there you see Tony Hollifield, a rugged 6'7" sophomore, playing some good basketball these days, coming off a good game against Drake that we did a couple of weeks ago. And there's Williams, scored 30 points the last time these two teams met, had his best game ever, and Braxic back in the starting lineup will guard him tonight, Terry.
That should be an interesting matchup inside.
And here come the guards, the much publicized guard tandem for Bradley, Jimmy Les, the senior, at the point. And of course, the freshman for ISU, so this will be interesting.
It's undoubtedly one of the best backcourt combinations in the country with Les and Hawkins.
6'3" from Chicago Westinghouse.
And here comes Hawkins, the man who's being touted as an All-American, and he certainly deserves every bit of publicity he gets. A sensational player. Todd Starks, a young man who did a super job of guarding him in the last game back in Peoria. In fact, a lot of Bradley fans felt that at times he got a little physical, but that's the way Illinois State plays. A tough man-to-man. They're physical with everyone.
Right, I thought both teams were really physical, and I don't expect much of a change tonight. I think they'll bang each other, and that's part of the game. That's the way it's played in Missouri Valley.
Now, the rankings came out earlier today, and according to the UPI, the Braves had moved up one more notch. They're now 12th in the nation, a record of 23-1, 10-0 in the Missouri Valley Conference. Illinois State 11-10, 6-4 in the Missouri Valley, coming off what I consider their most impressive win against Southern Illinois. They looked tremendous in that ball game. The Braves, a 14-game winning streak, tied with UNLV for the longest streak in the country, and we'll be back with the opening tip right after this.
Brown Sports
Lost only 2 tips this season. That includes overtime. And Terry, before we get started, let me read you this quote from Jim Barnhart of the Bloomington Panagraph. He says, "It's almost like the Christians being fed to the Lions depending on where you're playing. It's that rugged of a ball game." And Jim should know, he's seen a lot of them. Here's the opening tip, Braxic and Williams. And Bradley wins another one.
Now, Illinois State's going to start out that man-to-man, and they'll stay in it the whole game. They'll make some adjustments, but that's what they play.
The Braves moving the ball well. The same five that started. Oh, there's a steal by Kratz, and Trimpe gets it back to Donald Powell. That's some way to start things off, huh?
Good play, good heads-up play by Bradley. He got it inside. Powell showed you some of his athletic ability. Kratz has to really grab that ball and hold on to it and make sure it doesn't get away from him.
Just another game, the Bradley players told me in the press conference the other night after Creighton, and after that slam dunk, every single player was up on their feet, clapping, jumping, hollering. They don't do that for every game, believe me. Here's the Redbirds now on offense. It's Braxic in the starting lineup in place of Cliff Peterson. Braxic, there's a shot by Sanders, in and out, rebound by Powell. Percy Hawkins with the fake. Trevor Trimpe, wide open jump shot, a good shooter. 4-0 Bradley.
It really looks like Bradley is trying to take it right at Illinois State. Les is really trying to penetrate, taking it inside. First 5 minutes of this ball game is going to be very important. Illinois State, if they're going to stay in it, has to stay close during that time period.
Starks, the miss, rebound by Hawkins. And the ball's knocked out of bounds. It goes Bradley's way. Looked like the Braves were in a 1-3-1 zone there.
Right, and they'll change that zone a little bit. They'll give it a different look. They've been known to play a lot of man-to-man, too.
The referees for tonight's game, Ron Zetcher and Woody Mayfield. Zetcher is the man with the curly brown hair you'll see in your picture, I'm sure. And the foul on Braxic. Bob Donewald didn't like that call, and that's something he doesn't like to see. Braxic picking up the quick foul.
You know, that ball goes inside to Williams, and he just takes the ball right to the basket. He has to be careful of those charging situations. Like Billy may have got him a little bit with the body on that instant replay.
Looks like some good contact. Braxic, a good game in the last meeting back in Peoria. 14 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 blocks before he fouled out. And he didn't start in that game either, but his presence was felt back in Peoria. Williams seemed a bit tied on that free throw. Little wonder he's shooting right into a horde of Illinois State students who are doing everything they can to distract him.
You know, it's going to be very important for both teams not only to play hard, but play intelligently in order to win this basketball game.
Mike Williams 0 for 2 from the foul line. Only a 56% shooter, so it takes Mike a while to get loose and get those free throws falling. Here's Starks. Nice move inside. 4-2 Bradley, 18 minutes to play. Starks, of course, had a sensational game back in Peoria. We talked about his defensive earlier, Terry, as you see the toilet paper fly onto the floor, but on offense, he had a well of a game, scoring 17 points and pulling down 9 rebounds, and a lot of people considered him the star of the game of that contest back at the Civic Center.
You know, Starks is an outstanding athlete that creates a lot of things, but, you know, he's not intimidated. He goes out and he plays his game. Sometimes the shot doesn't fall, but he's still out there playing.
The Redbirds playing solid man-to-man. Starks again on Hawkins. Hawkins moving well without the ball, and I think he told Starks a little bit there to stay off him, and there's the shot by Hawkins, a miss. Donald Powell, another offensive rebound. Horton with a rebound for ISU.
That'd be another important aspect of this ball game. Who comes up with the most loose balls, second shots, that type of thing. Illinois State has pretty good ball movement right now. They're just looking for that opening, trying to be smart and patient.
There's Hollifield bowling his way inside, and they call it a walking violation.
So a lot of times he uses that double step move inside, and it looks like to the official at times he moved the pivot foot.
There you see Coach Donewald and Coach Versace. A lot of people consider this, at least from a fan's aspect, the Donewald-Versace rivalry. Of course, it's much more than that, but we do have two coaches with contrasting styles. Here's Jimmy Les, the senior. Hawkins inside, a nice pass. I believe that he was fouled before the that's exactly right. No basket.
You know, here come up with this, the replay. We'll see a reach in by Derek Sanders on Williams. There he gets him across the arm.
First foul on Sanders, second team foul. The other one was on Bill Braxic. Well, he better hurry. Nice switch off. Kratz is now on Hawkins. Starks on Les. And Trimpe, another wide open jump shot. And the push off inside on Mike Williams. They're going to count the bucket. That makes it 6-2 Bradley.
Hit that shot. It could be the difference in the ball game for Bradley.
There you see
shot.
Banging.
Oh, good physical play inside, and Williams working for position to really shove Brass at that time.
Foul on the Braves.
Well, Trimpe's been open for 2 wide open jumpers. A lot of ISU plays that help defense, so a lot of people are sagging inside, leaving Trimpe open. There's the foul on Hawkins, his first.
So far, I think the officials are keeping pretty good control of the game. Have called it relatively close, but let them play some inside.
2 team fouls now on both Bradley and Illinois State. 16 minutes and 40 seconds to play. It's 6-2 Braves. Here comes Les, leading the Valley in assists, and that one didn't get to anybody but Tony Hollifield.
Well, that was really good hustle by Tony Hollifield. He just worked to get down the floor and came up with that ball.
Poor shot by Derek Sanders. The rebound, Williams. Hawkins open. He looks for Les. Les, the senior, Kratz, the freshman. That's an interesting matchup.
You know, I'll tell you a difference in this ball game as the ball goes inside to Williams.
Braxic, his second foul.
The difference in this ball game so far relative to the last game is Bradley is really trying to pick up the tempo of the game and control that tempo. If Illinois State lets them do that, then they could be in trouble.
Here's the foul, Terry.
34. Caphorn checks in. He replaces.
You know, it looked like an awful lot of ball in that situation to me.
Mike missed his first 2 free throw attempts on the evening. As we said before, a 57% free throw shooter, and he's 0 for 3. Matt Taphorn has checked into the ball game for Derek Sanders. Taphorn, a 6'6" sophomore for Pekin. And Mike's now 1 for 4. As you saw in the graphic there, Bradley goes to full court pressure. Mike isn't the best free throw shooter, but as for field goal percentage, he leads the Valley. Hollifield with the slam. Boy, people are jumping for joy at that one. 7-4 Bradley.
You know, that's going to be something that's important for Illinois State. They have to continue to exploit that trap.
There's a foul on Starks, guarding Hawkins extremely close. Hawkins now asking the referee to watch it. He feels he's being held. We're right down here on the floor. The great game, Kerry. We were way up in the balcony. We're right on the floor, and we can see everything. Great vantage points.
Well, that's a really good effort by Todd Starks. You know, that's part of the ball game, and there's going to be some bumping in there because Hershey's pretty strong. He'll bump too.
No doubt about that. 14 fouls now for ISU, 2 for Bradley. 15:40 to play, 7-4 Braves. Powell, another offensive rebound and the bucket. Donald Powell playing much better on the offensive end, and that's been one of the big differences for Bradley in the last 5 or 6 games. Powell's really asserted himself.
Well, the difference in this game has been Powell and Hershey Hawkins. Not Powell and Hershey Hawkins, but Trevor Trimpe.
The Redbirds appear rather tight on offense. Of course, Bradley is playing that confusing zone defense. It's a 1-3-1. It almost molds into a 2-3. Williams playing Braxic tough, almost man-to-man. It's an interesting defense.
Well, I don't necessarily think it's confusing. Illinois State has seen it enough times. It's just exploiting.
Second foul on Williams. Both big men now, 2 fouls each.
You know, and that's exactly what Illinois State is looking to do, get the ball inside. You see the ball go inside on a good feed by Todd Starks, good fake by Tony Hollifield, draws the foul.
You know, when Mike Williams fouls you, there's no doubt about it. He lets you know it. There's no questionable fouls when Mike goes up. There you see a big 260-pound body slamming into Tony Hollifield. Hollifield hits his free throw. You know, he's only shooting 46% from the foul line, Terry, but in the last 2 games that I've seen, he's doing much better. He's been working on it, apparently.
It becomes a matter of concentration, getting a rhythm. Maybe Tony feels a little more comfortable.
2 for 2. 9-6 now, Bradley, 14 minutes, 58 seconds to play. We'll be back. It's going to be a good one.
For your entertainment, P&J Sales is pleased to present the nation's #1 acrobatic slam team.
Terry Smith and Terry, ISU and Bradley, they have met 11 times since the Redbirds joined the Missouri Valley Conference. The Braves won the first 2 meetings, and then the 7 in the middle there, ISU won, and then Bradley has won the last 2. So it's been one of those rivalries where the Redbirds had the edge for a while. Their fans had a lot to cheer about. Now Bradley's had a little more to cheer about, and it just throws more fuel on the fire. It gives these fans more to talk about.
Well, it'll always be a rivalry for the communities and for the 2 schools, regardless of what the records are, regardless of how far the games are apart relative to wins for each side.
The 2 cities separated only 38 miles on I-74. A lot of folks who work in Peoria live in Bloomington, vice versa. A lot of students who live in Bloomington go to Bradley. It's loads of fun. The Braves on the attack. Hawkins inside to Donald Powell. Powell's getting loose inside, covered by Hollifield, and a foul on Tony.
You know, previously Donald Powell was effective on second shots. That good athletic ability of his is exploiting Illinois State that way. He just got good posting position on Tony that way.
Donald Powell, a 57% free throw shooter. He makes it a 10-6 ball game. An interesting question the other night following the Creighton game. I asked Tony Brony if he felt Bradley had improved since they had played him last, and he thought that Donald Powell had improved tremendously. He thought he was the big difference on the Braves right now as of when they played Creighton a month ago.
Oh, he's playing pretty well in this game. He's come up with some big rebounds, and those are big free throws.
Bradley going full court pressure. Redbirds beat it up once again. Taphorn from Pekin. This is his first shot. Hollifield with a nice tip. Starks with a wide open shot. 11-8.
That was a good shot by Starks, but that shot was created because of Illinois State's effort on the offensive boards, something Bradley was doing at this end of the floor.
To the left, tied up Jerry Thomas now in the ball game for Bradley. He called it a jump ball. Illinois' possession.
Defensive effort by Illinois State. Left picked up his dribble, didn't have anything to do with it. That won't happen to him very often.
No, I think that's the first time I've seen it all year, matter of fact. Taphorn inside to Hollifield, very active, Tony. Nice fakes, and he gets the shot. Now a 1-point ball game, 11-10, 13:50 to play.
Now that's that double step I was telling you about, that fake inside, the double step with the same foot.
Now that's quite a battle. Hollifield and Powell both doing quite well on the offensive end. There you see Powell. Oh, nice move. Braxic, his 3rd foul.
Powell is definitely making his presence felt. That was a very good shot by Powell. Braxic went up with his hand straight up. Powell kind of moved into him, but it's tough to call and say who initiated that contact right there.
Braxic, his 3rd.
But there definitely was contact.
Team foul on Illinois State.
There's Braxic leaving the ball game. Checking back in, Derek Sanders. Donald Powell
Shoots 1.
8 points tonight, 3 rebounds. In the last game, back on January 23rd, Powell scored 7 points, and he fouled out of the game. There's his 9th point.
That pressure fire hasn't caused Illinois State any problems.
Taphorn with a miss. Sanders, offensive rebound. Boy, there's some banging going on underneath. And a foul called on Trippy.
Good aggressive play inside as we see this coming up on the instant replay.
Friendly personal foul against 34, Trevor.
There's a lot of action in there, a lot of bodies flying around and going after the ball. There's Derek Sanders, and I think if we had to follow through a little bit, we would have saw Trevor Turpin get him across the wrist.
A lot of banging going on. You could call it a foul on any one of those guys. Sanders, a 74% foul shooter, and he cans the first one. 14-11. 13 minutes to play.
You know, those missed free throws by Williams are playing a very important part in this ball game right now.
Sanders 2 for 2. Braves lead it by 2. Here comes Jimmy Less. Trimpey with another shot. 3 for 3 for Trevor.
Trimpey and Powell have been the catalyst to this Bradley attack thus far in the first half.
6 points for Trimpey, the sophomore from Havana, who plays a lot of minutes for Bradley but doesn't score a whole lot. Trevor only, nice move inside, nice block by Powell.
Good block by Powell, good timing, good athletic ability.
Trimpey averaging just about 4 points. There's Les with his first shot. It goes down, and they call him for the offensive foul. Count the bucket.
That's a good drive by Les, but Mark Kratz really has to get himself in a position where he can't give Les that angle right to the basket. Good move, helped inside by Matt Taphorn, who draws the foul.
A couple of years ago, Matt Taphorn would have hurt himself taking a charging foul like that, but since lifting a lot of weights and bulking himself up, he can withstand anybody charging to the basket just about. Bradley still in the zone pressure defense. Sanders. Powell, another block, and the foul on Taphorn.
Well, you know, it's tough making those calls because those kids are just going after the basketball. You know, there's going to be body contact when you go after the basketball on both teams' part. So Bradley is in the 1-and-1 already.
Already 12 minutes and 10 seconds to play.
That's the replay. There's Taphorn going after the ball.
There's so much action going on, Terry. It's hard to call. With 2 referees, it's hard to call everything. These guys are in for a rugged night if they continue to call it this close.
They're in for a rugged night every night.
There you see it. Jimmy Les shooting almost 75%. He misses the first end of a 1-and-1.
This is an important possession for Illinois State. They need to get themselves back in it. Good pass by Todd Stark.
Foul on Jerry Thomas. Caught Sanders on the hand, I think we'll see on the replay.
The Bradley personal foul against 21.
No replay, 12 minutes to play. Braves lead by 6.
16 foul on the Braves, no shot.
Taphorn, wide open jumper, he cans it. That's first bucket of the day after 3 attempts from the field.
Boy, when he's got time to set and square to the bucket, he's a very good perimeter shooter.
Taphorn coming off his best game ever against Southern Illinois. He had 16 points less with a nice shot.
Jimmy Les.
Kratz is really having trouble controlling Jimmy Les right now. He's able to penetrate and drive on him, and he's hurting him right now.
Inside to Sanders. Sanders getting a lot of shots, not hitting any of them, and Donald Powell, another rebound. William Anderson. No, we're going to see Cliff Peterson checking in. Les misses the shot. Taphorn with the rebound. Thought for sure we'd see the senior William Anderson come out and guard Les. Field walk with the basketball.
I'd like to see that one on instant replay. Looks like we're not going to get it, though.
Illinois State substitution, 32.
Cliff Peterson is now checked in for Derek Sanders.
Replaces Derek Sanders.
You know, Derek Sanders is playing hard. His shot selection hadn't been the best. I think he's really pushing the ball, trying to force it in rather than take his time and shoot the ball.
Here's Trevor Trimpey, 6 points already. Having a good night. Donald Powell, the force in the middle, active in the middle. This is that one, and a foul on Trimpey. The Redbirds are in 1-and-1, Terry.
Boy, both teams in 1-on-1 with 11:01 left to play. We're going to spend a lot of time at the line. We see it on the instant replay and watch.
It's 1-and-1.
Got him a little bit with the hip. It's hard to see it on this instant replay.
34, Matt Taphorn to the line for the Redbirds. 1 and bonus.
Matt Taphorn, a good free throw shooter. At the foul line, good form for all the youngsters out there. Watch Matt. excellent form, as you can see by the result. 20-15 now, Bradley.
Yeah, I'll tell you something that's very crucial in this game, and that is Williams is sitting on the bench with 2 fouls, and that means he's got 3 fouls to go in the second half. Because Illinois State doesn't have that luxury with Brassic with 3 fouls.
Both Brassic and Williams in early foul trouble. They were doing some serious banging around underneath the boards. And a foul now on Peterson leaning on Hawkins.
I don't know if we'll get to see that one on instant replay or not. But, you know, we talked about Hawkins being physical. He kind of had his arms wrapped around Peterson's leg there. Should get it on instant replay.
There was some contact there. Coach Donowald felt that Hawkins was backing in on Cliff. But Hawkins at the foul line 1-1, 80% shooter from the free throw line. Hawkins scores his first point of the ball game, now 21-16 Bradley. One for 2 for Hawkins. Boy, if Bradley had converted any of their free throws, Williams missed 3 free throws, Les missed a 1-1, Hawkins missed there. They'd be out in front by more than 5 points, let me tell you. Hollifield, another block by Powell.
Powell has excellent timing. He just did a good job of going up and knocking that ball down.
Powell's been very active here in the early going, and there he is, moving a shot in the air, and he's fouled by Peterson.
I think that was a bad call. You know, if we can get that on instant replay, it may prove me wrong. You see it. You see Peterson going straight up, going by, and Powell changes the shot and kind of goes into Peterson. If anything, that's a no-call situation.
As close as they're calling it, though, that had to be a foul. The way they've called a lot of fouls so far today. Powell misses another free throw. Donald, a 57% shooter. 9 points tonight.
Powell has played an excellent ball game thus far. As I said earlier, he and Trevor Trimpe have contributed just outstandingly in his first 10 minutes.
Powell with 10 points, Bradley a 6-point lead, 22-16, 10 minutes to play. Stark gets another jumper. It's now a 4-point lead. Jerry Thomas with a nice follow. I'm surprised he didn't call a foul there as Hawkins drove to the bucket.
You know, it could have been a charging foul there. Could have been a lot of different things called.
There was some serious contact is what we're saying, though. Bradley staying in that zone pressure defense. Taphorn misses a deep shot, and Donald Powell, we said his name a lot. Another rebound. Hawkins, this is it. Trimpe misses. Sanders back in the ball game, gets the rebound. Kratz misses his first shot. Hollifield inside, controlled by Tony. It's now 24-29 minutes to play.
Illinois State hadn't come up with a second shot in a long time. That was an important bucket for them. And thusly, you know, they're still in this ball game.
Trimpe, another shot. Missed that one. Taphorn on the break, lays it in. It's now 24-22, and that play you just saw is what the Redbirds did numerous times the other night against Southern Illinois. We're going to take a break with Bradley leading by 2, 24-20, 8:50 to play. Don't go away. Points or less. 3 games in overtime. One of those overtime victories on January 23rd against ISU. Inside to Jerry Thomas, who walked with the basketball. The Redbirds have a chance to tie.
We got a lineup change for Illinois State. You have William Anderson in the ball game, who is a pretty good perimeter shooter and gives them a little more quickness.
There's his first shot right off the bench. Nice follow by Derek Sanders, and it's a tie ball game, 8 minutes to play.
Good aggressive play by Derek Sanders.
of those have gone to Donald Powell. Les with a wide open shot from way out, and the nice follow by Jerry Thomas, and they called a foul on Sanders.
You know, Bradley has been known for that particular move where they have a man in the high post and he just slices down the lane on the shot and comes up with the rebound. That was a good rebound by Thomas.
Here's the replay, Terry.
Thomas shoots one.
Watch Thomas just slice in there, come up with the rebound. And that's on Derek Sanders, too.
Jerry having what a lot of people refer to as the sophomore blues, having a rugged sophomore season, but he's playing well tonight with a big three-point
right there.
Lynn Bertolini is into the game. And number 32.
Lynn Bertolini checks in for Bradley. Greg Jones,
Ladies and
big
gentlemen,
6'5", 230-pound bruiser, checks in for the Braves.
Please take your seats for the cooperation of those.
7.5 minutes to play. Bradley by 3. Starks takes the quick shot. Hits again. 1-point ball game.
Nice touch. Now, it'd be important for Bradley to be patient, get the ball inside, try to create some scoring such opportunities for themselves on this particular possession.
8 points for Todd Starks. Bertolini in there now for Bradley, coming off his best game against Creighton, a career-high 14 points. Most of those coming from the outside in the 20 to 25-foot range. Anderson against Les, the two seniors, and that time the senior from Bradley got the foul. His second foul.
You know, you won't find that happen to Jimmy Les either. He's such a great ball handler and is able to control his dribble to a great extent. He gets a shoulder into him that particular time.
You like that call, Terry?
No doubt about it. Les is a good ball player. That's not reflective of how you would normally see him play.
We've seen Les get tied up with a 5-second count and also the charging foul. Two uncharacteristic moves on his part.
But I'll tell you what, he's going to be there when the chips are down.
Anderson over to Taphorn. Tony Hollifield. Nice play.
That play was made by the penetration by Matt Taphorn and then the good feed.
The Redbirds now lead at 28-27. Hollifield with 10 points.
Bradley's got Bertolini in the game now, and he's going to give them some additional scoring strength from out on the floor.
If you tuned in late tonight, Mike Williams picked up 2 quick fouls for Bradley. He's been on the bench most of the half. Les with a shot.
Well, you can't give him that shot because Jimmy Les has improved his shooting over the years and is very effective in that range.
William Anderson sporting a new haircut. He came out against Southern with that balding dome. It looks like his hair may have grown back a little bit since then. It was shining quite a bit against the Salukis. Anderson in there with Taphorn, Stark, Sanders, and Hollifield, who has 10 points. Well, you can count it.
A little contact inside in that situation. We'd have to see that on instant replay to be able to call it.
Not the prettiest move, but it does give Illinois State a 1-point lead. Starks with the tip, Anderson with the ball. Foul on Lynn Bertolini, his first.
Got an instant replay coming up on this particular situation. See Taphorn with the ball. Boy, there's a flash across the lane. Boy, it's really hard to see in there. The foul may have taken place a little earlier before Bertolini was even fouled.
Les, the senior, talking now with referee Ron Zetcher. The fans around here don't like that. Les was just trying to get an opinion on a couple of calls, and Les is checked out of the ball game. So now an interesting 5 in there for Bradley. Donald Powell, Greg Jones, Percy Hawkins, Trevor Trimby, and Lynn Bertolini. It really appeared to me, Terry, that Les was getting a little ruffled by the crowd, maybe by some of the calls not going Bradley's way. And I think Dick Versace is giving him a little time to rest.
You know, he's a team captain. He's going to speak up in situations. He just has to be careful that he doesn't draw a technical.
Bertolini now will take the point, dribble it down. Trimpe was shooting earlier, hasn't gotten a shot off in the last few minutes. Donald Powell, Bertolini looking for the shot. Some good outside shooters in there for Bradley. And Lynn misses his first attempt. Nice rebound by Jones. And I think they're going to give that one to Donald Powell.
You know, that's somewhat the same effort that Illinois State has made up the other end. That's just good offensive rebounding. They're just going after the basketball.
They gave that to Hawkins. And it's tipped out of bounds. The referees converse. Who's it going to be? Bradley gets the ball, and Coach Donowald does not agree.
That's another one of those you wish you could see on instant replay.
This is an interesting game to watch both coaches. Both coaches have been relatively calm up until now, but now as the gymnasium is heating up, they're heating up. They're getting into the game. We'll be back with more of this ball game. It's all tied up. Don't go away. Here in the first half, and we're all knotted up 31 apiece. The Bradley Braves come into this game, Terry, with a record of 10-0 in the Missouri Valley Conference. They're shooting to become the first team since the '79 Indiana State Sycamores, who you saw play, to go undefeated in Valley play. And the Redbirds stand in their way. This is going to be a good one. Once again, Jones, Trimpe, Bertolini, Powell, and Hersey Hawkins for Bradley. Jimmy Les went out of the game a couple of minutes ago to take a breather. Inside to Jones, who's doing some banging, and a nice tip. That has got to be Powell, I think.
That's Donald Powell again, you know, just doing a great job of going to the basket. Illinois State has to get to him and block him out if they want to keep him off that glass.
Bradley a 2-point lead. Playing without their two seniors, Mike Williams and Jimmy Les. Williams in a bit of foul trouble with two quickies. Les just taking a breather.
You know, they do have one senior on the court in Hersey Hawkins. He plays like a senior.
And time Starks another bucket. We have ourselves another tie game. 3 minutes to play, 33 up.
Starks is playing an excellent ball game. Has given Illinois State the perimeter shooting that they look for out on the perimeter.
Starks now has 10 points. He's held Hawkins to 2 points. Another rebound by Tony Hollifield. Hollifield and Powell are a great battle going on. Both players dominating the rebounding on both ends. And a shot by Taphorn doesn't fall. Bertolini comes up with a loose ball. 2 minutes, 30 seconds to play. Tie ball game.
Slow down the tempo a little bit this possession, looking to get that good shot.
Hawkins, the wide open shot, and he cans it.
You know, that was patience in Bradley's offense. They got the skip pass to Hawkins, who was wide open. A little mix up in defense on Illinois State's part.
Hawkins now has 5 points. I think Bradley slowed the tempo down mainly because Jimmy Les is not in the ball game. Anderson, another miss. Starks comes up with it. Starks, a young freshman who's apparently likes playing against Bradley in the big crowds. He does well. And a foul inside on Greg Jones, his first.
Jones got a little piece of Tony Hollifield's arm as he started to go to the basket.
Bradley personal foul against 32. Greg Jones is first. It's a 2-shot foul.
Jerry Thomas now checks in for Bradley, in for Jones.
It's Bradley lineup replacing Jones.
One of the things that could have a bearing on this game, William Anderson has taken 2 perimeter jump shots from near the top of the key and hasn't connected on either one. We have to see how that affects him, see what his role becomes. He needs to look to get the ball inside as a passer, and if the opportunity is there, he's a good enough shooter, he's got to take it.
There you saw the graphic. Illinois State 8 of 9 from the free throw line. Bradley only 7 of 13. If the Braves could have converted a few more of those, they'd be in the lead by 4 or 5, maybe 6 points.
Returns for Illinois State, replacing Derek Sanders.
Cliff Peterson now checks in for Sanders. Kratz back in the ball game for Todd Starks. That's an interesting move. Starks has been the offensive spark for the Redbirds. Here in the last few minutes, he takes a breather.
Well, a couple of things that we have happening is, one, Sanders has 2 fouls on him, so Bob's going to get him out of the game. I'm not exactly sure how many Starks has, but he does need a break.
There's Hollifield's first miss. They're now 8 out of 10 as a team from the foul line. The Redbirds with a 1-point lead. Anderson now on Hawkins since Starks has left the ball game. That's the matchup. Anderson, Hawkins, Kratz on Bertolini. They switched off now. Taphorn has Hawkins. Inside Hollifield and Powell doing some banging.
You know, with Matt Taphorn on the game, that just gives them more opportunities to switch.
Powell doing some fancy movement, impressing the heck out of me. And a forced shot by Trevor. Rebound by Matt Taphorn. They could have called a foul now when they didn't. They've been calling fouls the whole game, and sometimes they are not in good positions. I'm talking about the referees, a good position to call fouls because there's only 2 of them out there.
Well, that was a good aggressive rebound by Matt Taphorn. He just went after that thing.
50 seconds now to play. 27 on the shot clock. Redbirds with a 1-point lead.
You have to keep a close eye on that shot clock because sometimes it'll run out on you and you won't even know it. Bradley will have an opportunity to get the ball back for the final shot of the first half.
You can see the shot clock there above the backboard. 8 seconds now. Taphorn with the jump shot. No good. Hollifield another rebound inside the foul, and I'm sure that will count.
Well, I think that foul was before the shot.
No bucket. Still a 1-point lead before the shot.
Got an instant replay coming up.
Against 21, Jerry Thomas, his second. 1-1. 45.
You called
the line for the Redbirds.
27 seconds now left. 35-34, Illinois State. Jimmy Les returns to the ball game in place of Jerry Thomas. Les has been on the bench for the last few minutes. Bertolini's been doing the ball handling chores for the Braves, but now that will go back to Jimmy Les. Hollifield hits another free throw. Boy, a difference a month makes. 4 weeks ago, he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a free throw. Today, he looks sharp at the foul line.
Well, so again, it's a matter of concentration. Tony's into the game, and it's falling for him.
This is that one. Hawkins with the rebound. Percy's gone all the way. Donald Powell all the way. Hollifield all the way.
Now Bradley will play for the final shot. And this is a typical alignment you'll see with Bradley. They'll get those 3 guards out front.
Bertolini throws it away. 10 seconds to play, all tied up 35 apiece. This game, of course, on national television, ESPN, seen all over the country. And the folks all over the country are seeing a whale of a ball game. And I'm sure a lot of folks have never seen a Missouri Valley game.
You know, you just saw Starks and come back in the ball game to give them some additional perimeter scores on the floor.
That'll stay on the Redbirds' end.
Now there's only 1 second left on the clock. They have to get this shot off quickly if there's going to be a shot.
At the start of the second half, we'll see a different Bradley team, certainly, because Mike Williams will start the half. There's a shot by Anderson. No good. William 0 for 3. All long-range bombs that did not even come close. So there you have it. At the end of 20 minutes of play, it's about as close as you can make it. 35 for Bradley and 35 for the Redbirds. We'll be back with more right after this. Action once again. Doug Bell along with Terry Smith bringing you the exciting highlights and actions. 35 all. The Bradley Braves a record of 23-1 this season. Terry 12-1 on the road. They've won 10 in a row on the road. That's the second best road record in the country, next only to North Carolina.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Bradley deserves that lofty ranking that they have. it would be important to watch the first 5 minutes of the second half to see who gains the upper hand is relative to control.
Derek Sanders steps on the inbounds line. Once again, the same starting five that started for both teams are in there again starting the second half. For Bradley, that's Trimpey, Powell, Mike Williams, Jimmy Les, Hersey Hawkins, and for ISU, Mark Kratz, Todd Starks, Tony Hollifield, Derek Sanders, and Bill Braxic with 3 fouls is in there. Guarding Powell, they have Hollifield on Williams. They're trying to keep Bill in the ballgame for a little while. Trevor Trimpey, a nice shot, in and out. The rebound, Braxic, and the jump ball, and that will go to Bradley.
You know, quickness got that rebound for Powell, who was able to move those feet a little quicker than Billy and tie him up. Bradley's ball in the change of possession.
Donald Powell led the Braves with 10 points in the first half, 7 rebounds, and 4 blocked shots. And a foul now on Starks. There's been a lot of shoving in that matchup over there. Starks against Hawkins, and they call another one on Starks, his second foul. In the first half, Hersey Hawkins scored only 5 points, 2 of 7 from the field, while Starks pumped in 10 points, 5 of 6 from the field.
Now, the matchups inside will be interesting. You have Tony Hollifield guarding Williams now. We'll see if Bradley will look to go inside, especially to Williams with that particular matchup.
Sanders, here comes Kratz. Now for ISU in the first half, Tony Hollifield had 12. As we said, Starks 10. Sanders, their leading scorer, had 7 in the first half.
Very good feed inside by Todd Starks, and Tony Hollifield was sliding across the lane against that zone, came up with this stuff.
Didn't want to say anything after that one. The crowd said it all. The home team's up by 2, 18 and a half minutes to play. Hollifield with 14. Les, the wide open jumper, he cans it. We're tied again.
No, you can't. If you give Les that open shot, he's going to stick it in the bucket. Starks has to get to him a little quicker if he expects to put any pressure at all on the shot.
There's a turnover by the Redbirds in the first half. ISU only had 2 turnovers. Now in the first 2 minutes of the second half, they commit their first of the second half, 3 overall.
You know, that's Derek Sanders' second mistake. The first, he stepped out of bounds on that initial pass. He's got to get himself settled down, get into the ball game.
Len Bertolini's checked in for Bradley in place of Trevor Trimpey. Powell with the shot, and it will count. I'm sure it'll count, and they call another foul on Mike Williams inside. That's Williams' 3rd foul, and you're going to see it coming up. Watch Williams in the lower part of your screen on Starks.
Mike Williams is a man in there, isn't he?
To be honest with you, Terry, it seemed like kind of a petty foul to call with so much banging going on either side on both ends of the court. It's hard for me to figure a foul like that. Anyway, it's 39-37 Bradley. 3 fouls on both the big men now. Make that 4 on Williams.
Come up on the instant replay. Probably missed the initial foul. It was on the entry pass rather than on the shot.
Mike Williams, a career-high 30 points back on the 23rd of January tonight. Not a factor so far in the offensive end. 4 personal fouls for Mike. Beautiful shot by Tony Hollifield.
Boy, it looked like he just lost control of it when he went in there and had enough about him to get it up toward the basket.
In the first half, Mike Williams scored 1 point. And Bill Braxic now has 4 fouls. So, both teams, their big men have been neutralized, 4 fouls each. And Donald now searching down his bench. Taphorn will check in, and I'm sure Braxic will leave.
Bill Braxic is fourth. Second team foul.
Taphorn comes in for Braxic. Trimpey came in for Mike Williams. Both big men now on the bench, 4 fouls, 17 and a half minutes to play. A lot of time on the clock. And the 2 big fellas were such a major factor in the game. 3 weeks ago are now watching it from the sidelines.
You know, that's part of basketball, too. The important thing is that you replace them as scorers with somebody else. Hopefully, people are coming off the bench.
Donald Powell, a pretty shot. 57% free throw shooter. He now has 13 points.
I tell you, Donald Powell in this game has been Bradley's most effective scoring weapon.
There's a miss. Jimmy West comes up with it. Les Bertolini Hawkins. Out front for Bradley, Trimpey and Donald Powell. I guess you'd say they're the big men in there right now. Nice pick by Trimpey. Shot no good.
Boy, that shot had to be from at least 22 feet.
I was at a bad angle, Kerry. Couldn't see it, but Powell was called for the foul.
Well, we should see it on the instant replay.
Bradley foul against 24, Donald Powell.
Pass go down inside.
13 foul.
Got him a little bit on the arm there.
Donald's first foul of the ball game,
Sanders at the line.
which is good news for Bradley considering the foul trouble Williams has gotten into. And the foul shot by Sanders ties it up. Derek has 8 points tonight. The Redbirds in the lead with 16 minutes, 50 seconds to play. It stays on Bradley's end. The first time in the game, Dick Versace has gotten off the bench and questioned anything. And quite naturally, the fans here at Horton Field House, especially the ones wearing the white wigs, are getting on Dick. The Redbirds, tough man-to-man like they always do. Bradley's played the zone defense the entire game. Starks comes up with it. Bradley, Lynn Bertolini, bringing it up. The tempo slowed down considerably then. When you consider in the first 4 or 5 minutes of the ball game, it was back and forth, Bradley pressing the tempo. And a foul inside on Hollowfield.
Both teams are working the ball around, trying to get the ball inside. That time you see Powell flashing across the lane, and Hollowfield going after the ball, getting a little bit on the arm.
That's Tony's second foul, third team foul this half.
No shot.
Donald Powell only has one for Bradley, so the two main cogs of both offensive units not in serious foul trouble. Here's Hawkins. Boy, is that pretty. And the foul on Matt Taphorn. A beautiful move by Hawkins. So fluid.
You know, you give Hawkins an angle to the basket, and he would just exploit it. Here you see him sliding down the lane, and you do see Matt Taphorn moving his feet there in that particular situation. That was a good call by the official.
You have to be set. Matt maybe moved a little bit to the left. If he'd stayed put, who knows the call. But he did move a little to his left. Matt's second foul. Hawkins now 7 points. And he converts the three-point play. Bradley now up by 2, 43-41, 15 and a half minutes to go.
Now, Illinois State will look to be patient, try to work the ball around, look for skip passes, trying to get the ball inside for those scoring opportunities.
The Braves now in a 2-3 zone. It was a 1-3-1 earlier, 2-3 now. Kratz, his first field goal of the game.
They're really backing off to keep the ball from going inside, and that shot's made available to Kratz from about 17 feet.
Les tries to answer, he misses. Sanders with the rebound. Boy, did he ever shove Les there. Here comes Taphorn. Matt misses. Another rebound by Sanders. He's back and forth, hustling like crazy up and down this court. hits the roll. Bradley up by 2, 14:50 to play.
Well, when you have easy shots like Matt Taphorn had down here, you really have to convert on those because guards as good as Les will look to exploit you if you don't put them in the bucket.
What's impressive about tonight's performance from a player like Donald Powell, Tony Hollifield, Derek Sanders, and Hersey Hawkins, there's a nice shot by Sanders. They're not only playing good offense, but defense. They're back and forth, running as hard as they can. 11 points now for Sanders. Foul out front on Kratz. 5th team foul on the Redbirds. First one on Kratz.
Kratz saw that ball out there, just reached for it, tried to come up with it. Powell across the arms.
Foul 5 on the Redbirds.
Well, we're going to have our first TV timeout of this second half. Just like it was at halftime. We're all tied up 45 apiece. Whew, don't go away. Ball game, you can watch Eyewitness News on Channel 19. Terry Scott, Bob Hetherington, Dan Pearson filling in for me on sports, and Vic Burnett filling in for Lee Ranson. Tonight, Terry's first part of her series, Children Having Children. 14 minutes, 22 seconds on the clock, and we're all tied up 45 apiece. And who knows when the news is going to go on, Terry, because this has overtime written all over it right now. It's a close one.
Well, whoever has the ball last is going to win the thing.
In for Bradley, Les, Trimpe, Powell, Hawkins, and Bertolini. For ISU, Starks, Taphorn, Kratz, Hollifield, and Sanders. And there's a nice shot from Lynn Bertolini.
You know, and you have to really be aware of Bertolini because if he gets hot, he can hurt you.
Bertolini's first bucket of the ball game. I said in the first half he's coming off his career best performance against Creighton when he had 14, 12 in the first half, mostly on jumpers like you just saw. Donald Powell is so active in the middle, controlling things defensively, offensively. That's quite a battle with him and Hollifield. And there you see the two battle there. And Bradley comes up with it. Hawkins with a pretty shot. Bradley by 4.
That's that transition bucket. Illinois State has to pick up in their half-court situation a little quicker because Bradley can be very effective with that transition offense.
Hawkins now has 10 points. He's getting loose a little more in this second half. The Braves very active, setting some vicious picks. There's Sanders, another block by Powell, his 5th block of the ball game.
You know, I've said it before, but he just has such tremendous timing to go along with good jumping ability.
There's Powell. Inside, who are they going to call it on? Derek Sanders moved in his way.
That was a good call by the official. It looked to me, if we get it on instant replay, I don't know if we will or not.
Foul against 35, Derek Sanders, his 3rd.
Right, Derek Sanders was not set at all and just ran right into
Illinois
it.
State wants
That's Derek Sanders, the Redbirds' leading scorer, picking up his 3rd personal foul. 16 fouls now on ISU. One more, the Braves will be in the bonus situation. They have a 4-point lead, 13 minutes on the clock, and we'll be back right after this. Ball out underneath their own basket. They have a 4-point lead, 13 minutes to play. Bradley, currently a 14-game winning streak, tied with the UNLV for the longest streak in the country. And the running Rebs of Jerry Tarkanian, they also play tonight. That's on the West Coast, so we'll see if either team or both teams can continue their streaks. A couple of changes in the lineup for ISU. Cliff Peterson in for Tony Hollifield. They're giving Hollifield a rest. And also William Anderson is checked in for Mark Kratz. And a steal by Anderson. Les gets it back. Throws it away. Redbirds coming our way, Terry.
You know, I don't know if you noticed it or not, but William Anderson made that play. He came all the way from the help side position and came out with that basketball, and then Les tried to drive and got caught up in traffic.
The Braves going with the same 5 they've gone with for the last 6 minutes after Mike Williams picked up his 4th personal foul. Taphorn with the jumper short. Sanders active in the middle, gets another rebound. 45 seconds back on the shot clock.
This is an important offensive possession for Illinois State because you don't want Bradley, if you're Illinois State, to go up by 6 points.
A lot of people on their feet here at the Horton Field House. This one, whew, you can pull out all the cliches. Barn burner, nail biter, thriller. They all fit. There's Tap Horn. The 2-point Bradley lead, 49-47. 8 points for Matt. Here comes the sophomore from Beacon with a steal.
You know, each possession as the clock runs down gets more important.
Starks. Way long and the foul inside on Peterson, who just checked in a few seconds ago for Tony Hollifield.
Well, Peterson was really slow moving his feet then.
Illinois State foul on 32. Cliff Peterson, his third.
Incidental contact there.
Foul is 1 and 1.
He had good position. You know, again, you bring up the point in the Missouri Valley Conference, only 2 referees do these ball games, and in a game like this where there's so much activity all over the court, it's tough for 2 guys to keep it consistent, I think is a good word.
Then, I don't know, because that official was standing right there under the basket.
Bertolini, a good foul shooter, makes it a 3-point Bradley lead. 3 points now for Bertolini. The referees took time out there to talk to members of both teams. A lot of elbows and shoving going on. And Bertolini makes 2 for 2, and it's a 4-point lead. We should say in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament, there's a shot by Anderson. Another rebound by Powell. In the tournament, March 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, there will be 3 officials working the games. West goes the distance. Charging foul. Will the bucket count? It does.
You see the instant replay on this.
53-47 Bradley. A play reminiscent of the fabulous play that sent the last game into overtime. West going the distance.
His third. Foul on Bradley.
Well, you know, things are getting heated here at the Horton Field House. And Terry, we had our first cup of ice thrown onto the court.
Please do not throw objects on the floor.
It took 29 minutes, but there comes the ice.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Boy, there you see the trainer wiping up the spot. There was so much ice in that cup that it made a little indenture in the court. Must have come from way up in the rafters.
But, you know, one of the things I think is important to point out at this particular point in time is that both teams have had opportunities to score in the last few possessions. Bradley has taken advantage of those where Illinois State has had good shots and they've had opportunities to put it in the bucket, but they haven't completed those plays. And, you know, in a game like this, just a couple sequences can be the difference in the ball game.
We're back to the action now. The ice cleared. Starks, nice block by Hawkins, a nice save. Here comes Jimmy West, the senior. Foul on Hawkins. Donald Powell terribly upset on the other end. He thought he was hammered. 2 fouls now on Hersey.
Bradley foul
You know, Anderson has made a couple of big defensive plays. He hadn't been able to get the ball in the basket. We see Matt Taphorn on a little slide move to the bucket and get it to drop.
34, Matt Taphorn.
It's getting to that point of the game where we're getting a lot of talking from both sides at the referees. All the players seem to be upset with what's going on out there. Of course, a lot is on the line.
Anytime a call goes against you, you're never going to be happy about it.
Taphorn, again, great form at the foul line. 9 points for Matt. Watch him shoot the foul shot. Oh, he missed that one.
Well, he didn't get his legs into it. Boy, when you're down by 5 to the number 13 team in the country, sometimes it's really tough to come back. If Illinois State expects to come back, they really have to dig down and struggle.
Well, there's Powell inside, and he throws it away. You know, Illinois State, they're sagging in on Powell now. They're giving Trippy the jumper in the corner. We might see Trevor take some shots here in the next few minutes. Horton back in the game, gets rejected by Hawkins. All sorts of activity, all sorts of people going down. And they call the foul on Hershey Hawkins.
You see the instant replay on it. Hawkins was going after the basketball, but I think Derek Sanders beat him to it, and then as he was diving, dived into Derek Sanders. A lot of activity going after that basketball. Ball's loose. You got to grab the thing, regardless what team you're on, and you see Hershey going after the ball and just diving into Derek.
I think at home, the folks watching should watch where the referees are on those replays and just see, are they close to the play and what angle do they have on the play. Right there, they were nowhere to be seen in the replay. It's tough. 2 officials working a game like this. Lots of activity. Terry and I are on the floor, and we're seeing it firsthand. Horton with the 22-foot bank shot. 11 points for Matt, who in the last couple of games has shown off his offensive skills. Powell, another offensive rebound and the miss. They call a foul on Sanders. Starks is down after falling on top of Powell. Powell visibly upset.
We'll see that on the instant replay again. The call evidently went against Derek Sanders. You see Derek Sanders inside.
The Illinois State foul is on 35. Derek Sanders is scored.
Derek Sanders is not anywhere near the play.
That's a better angle right there, Terry. You saw Sanders up close to Powell on the play. That's what they called anyway.
For Bradley, 24, Donald Powell.
9 minutes, 20 seconds on the clock. Bradley a 3-point lead. And as you heard by the boos in the crowd, there weren't a whole lot of folks here that agreed with that call. Powell with the foul shot. Boy, now I want the folks at home again to watch Anderson block out Powell after the shot. Talk about a heck of a block out. That time he eased up. 2 for 2, 5-point Bradley lead. This game was tied at the half, 35-35 if you just tuned in. Braves trying to set up that double screen on the other side to Hawkins to get him open for the jumper. Anderson now covering Hawkins. Starks is on Bertolini. Taphorn on Les.
Oh, that was good move by Hawkins. He just slipped underneath Anderson, who had lost track of him. And Bradley's up by 7. Illinois State, if they want to stay into it, has got to score here.
12 points for Hawkins, and you have to give credit to Trevor Trimpe. Threaded the needle on that pass. A young man who at 6'7" can play not only the big forward, a swing man at the point sometimes, but as you see there, very versatile with a nice pass. Sanders, the leading scorer for ISU, scores to make it a 5-point game.
You know, that was a big bucket for Illinois State, because if Bradley comes down and scores without Illinois State scoring, they're up by 9.
13 points now for Sanders. Bradley will take their time with a 5-point lead, 7.5 minutes on the clock. They're going to look for nothing but a good shot. Emphasize good. Now on the shot clock. Taphorn called for the foul.
You know, I couldn't see it clearly from here, but it did look like Matt got him on the wrist. And when he really didn't need to, all he needed to do was put a little pressure on the shot.
Two-shot foul with Hawkins.
This is a 2-shot foul. From here on out, Bradley will be in the bonus situation. Illinois State needs one more Bradley foul to be in that 1-and-1.
We see the fouls there. You see Williams at 4, but both Sanders and Brassic at 4 for Illinois State.
Hawkins misses the first one. Jeff Harris will check in and see his first action of the ball game. Harris for William Anderson. Jeff's a 6'4", 180-pound sophomore, good outside shooter from Indianapolis. Giving Anderson a rest. William hustling out there. Here's Hawkins with the second into the two-shot foul, and he cans it. It's a 6-point Bradley lead with 7.5 minutes to play.
You know, Illinois State has brought Harris in the game, who is a fine perimeter scorer. That gives Illinois State some more, another scoring threat from out on the floor.
Bradley has really sagged their zone defense inside. They're begging. There you see the outside shot, and Taphorn answers. They were telling him he could do it, and he did it.
Bradley is really trying to keep that ball from going inside to Tony Hollifield and Derek Sanders. Thusly, you're going to leave some people open on the perimeter. That time, Matt Taphorn was able to get the ball down.
Powell wanted that ball badly. On this angle on our TV now, they swing back down, and the timeout. Dick Versace calls his first timeout of the ball game. 6 minutes and 36 seconds to play. Bradley leads it 58-54. A lot of basketball to play. Anything can happen, so don't go away.
George Baxter of Maple Drive has been shoveling since 7 a.m. It's 7:45, and his neighbor's just now getting out in his driveway. They both have to be at work by 8. Who do you think's going to be late? Escape the scrape. Take the bus. This but's for all that you do.
From Jim Barnhart, the longtime writer for the Bloomington Pantograph. Let me tell you what Dick Lean of the Peoria Journal-Star, who covers Bradley, has to say about this rivalry. He says this game has become as intense as any in any league in the country. It's probably due to the proximity of the schools, but Dick says there's a lot of emotion involved in those games, and sometimes things happen. He remembers the game when Ron Jones bumped Dick Versace a few years ago. It was accidental, but it stirred some trouble. Tonight, not a whole lot has happened. One clump of ice hit the middle of the floor, but heck, that happens in a lot of basketball games. 6.5 minutes to play. Bradley by 4. Mike Williams checked back in. He has 4 fouls, only 1 point.
Good rebound by Derek Sanders. Bradley got the shot they wanted. Hawkins wasn't able to get the ball to go down.
Hollifield and Sanders doing a lot of rebounding out there. They're getting way up on the boards. Of course, so is Donald Powell, who's played the entire way for Dick Versace. No resting for Powell, the sophomore from Oklahoma. Saw the two fellas I was just talking about, Sanders and Powell, fighting for it. They rolled off Powell. The Redbirds will maintain possession.
You know, Sanders came from the other side of the court to keep that ball alive, and Valley players went after it and just knocked it off of each other.
Bob Donewald has started to stretch his legs over there. Rather quiet the entire game. Bob up off the bench, trying to figure out a way to attack this zone defense, which is sagging in on the big guys and cause that steal. Jump ball, and it's going to stay on ISU's end.
Illinois State's possession.
You know, that was good hustle. We'll see it on the instant replay. The ball is loose.
Returns to the Redbird lineup.
A couple people hit it, kick it around. Powell gets on the floor, slides a little bit. There's tie ball. Jump ball, change of possession, Illinois State's ball.
Mark Kratz is now checked back in for ISU in place of Todd Starks. Todd had a sensational first half with 10 points. He held Hersey Hawkins to 5 points. In the second half, his shot's gone awry, and Hawkins has gotten free for a few more buckets. Of course, Starks wasn't guarding him the entire second half.
They'll continue to work the ball against this compact zone. They're really jamming it inside. They just have to look for those opportunities on the perimeter. It's tough to get it inside with that zone the way it is.
Well, there's Kratz from the outside. And William Anderson will now get up off the bench and check in for Kratz after that miss. 5 minutes to play, and Bradley's right up there with a 4-point lead. Foul on Taphorn.
Both teams utilizing a lot of movement offensively, and you'll see Hawkins slide through that lane a number of times along with Williams and Powell. And conversely, on the other end, there'll be a lot of activity inside for Illinois State. And both teams are trying to make it difficult to get the ball inside, presenting the perimeter shot.
And there you see a good example of what you're talking about, Terry. 4 Redbirds within the red paint there. And Hawkins hits the first one. A couple of new people in the lineup. Todd Starks is checked back in along with William Anderson. Jeff Harris and Kratz have sat down. And by the way, Matt Taphorn, that was his 4th personal foul. Hawkins 2 for 2. It's 60 to 54.
Hawkins is one of the people, if you're Illinois State, that you don't want to put at the line because he is such an effective free throw shooter.
Starks from way out. He finally hits one. Now a 4-point game.
He was at about 15, 16 feet, was well in his range. Sometimes he gets a lot of arc on that shot. It makes it look a little further out than what it really is.
12 points for the freshman. The last time a team went undefeated in the Missouri Valley Conference was in 1979. A lot of folks back in Peoria, here in Bloomington, Normal, and surrounding areas remember watching Larry Bird lead that team to a perfect 16-0 mark. That, of course, is what Bradley is trying to accomplish. They are 10-0. A lot of coaches have already conceded the fact that Bradley has clinched the regular season title. The Braves don't believe it. They want to have that 0 next to their name. Hawkins inside, another nice pass from Trippy, who's showing off his passing skills.
That was a really good back screen by Mike Williams, who stepped up and back screened the man guarding Hersey Hawkins and left him all alone underneath the bucket.
There's a steal for Trippy. Trippy, an unsung hero. Tomorrow in the box score, Trevor won't have a whole lot of points by his name, and that's what a lot of people look at. But he's come up with 2 slick passes here for assists. And a nice rebound, and Powell leaves with a hurt ankle.
That wasn't so much of a steal as it was an assist by Taphorn. He threw it right in his arms.
Donald Powell has played the whole way for Bradley, but he leaves now with a twisted ankle. And we'll be back with 3 minutes and 30 seconds to play. Bradley leads at 62-56. Braves are now trying to pull off a rare sweep. When you have a rivalry like this, especially at the Horton Field House, a tough place to play, they're trying to pull off the rare sweep as they lead by 6 with 3.5 minutes to play.
Well, Bradley is no stranger to this type of crowd. They played against this type of crowd in a lot of situations, and it's a credit to the effort that they put forth to find ways to win against adversity. And tonight it has been Powell, I think, who has sparked this team. The game is far from over. Illinois State still has an opportunity to get back in the game and present some problems for Bradley. But this possession, I think, is extremely important.
Well, the crowd, especially the ISU fans, are getting anxious now. They want their team to do something. Bradley under control. An experienced team. A lot of sophomores out there, but they don't play like inexperienced sophomores. Bertolini, wide open jumper. Hawkins, an offensive bound. That's Williams scoring over Braxic. Bill has checked back into the ballgame for Illinois State.
That's a big play by Williams. Puts by 8.
That's Williams' first bucket of the ball game. He now has 3 points. Mike has hardly had time to work up a sweat tonight. He's been on the bench in foul trouble most of the way.
Illinois State has made 3 or 4 bad passes and turned the ball over without an opportunity to shoot the ball, and you can't beat a team like Bradley playing that way.
Against Missouri Valley teams here at the Horton Field House, Bob Donewald has a record of 38 wins, only 7 defeats. It is tough to come in here and beat Illinois State.
Bradley will really look to work the clock. Will only take a shot after they have ran the clock down sufficiently to within, I'd say, 10, maybe even 5 seconds.
Well, it's now on 5 right now, Terry. Les is stuck with it. Hawkins will have to shoot quickly. In and out, rebound by Hollifield. Another foul on Hersey Hawkins.
That's one of the things I think Illinois State will need to do. That is to look to penetrate, create potential three-point plays, as Todd Stark does here on this instant replay. It goes to the bucket. You see Hersey Hawkins getting on the hand a little bit. They need to score with the clock stopped if they're to continue to challenge Bradley in this situation.
Hersey Hawkins now has 4 fouls. Mike Williams also with 4. Braxic with 4. Donald Powell will now check back into the game after twisting his ankle. William Anderson, the senior, will replace Bill Braxic.
Powell replaces Williams for the Braves.
Donald Powell comes back in for Mike Williams. Don't forget, following this game, you can watch Eyewitness News with Terry Scott and Bob Hetherington, Dan Pearson, Vic Burnett. And the foul shot by Starks makes it a 64-57 game. Terry starts her series tonight, Children Having Children. It's now 64-58. The Redbirds will now pull out and pressure a little bit, pressure the defense. And as long as we're getting plugs in, we'll get one in for Terry. You can hear him on the radio on WIHN FM for all the games that we don't do on TV.
Bradley is really going to spread that offense out now, look for opportunities for Les and Hawkins to drive the ball all the way to the basket, create scoring opportunities. Illinois State will, of course, come out and pressure. They may get themselves in a situation where they're going to have to decide who they want to foul.
Bradley's got good free throw shooters in the game right now. Les, Hawkins, Bertolini. Trippy's a good shooter. He's only gone the line this season 13 times. Only hit 5, but it's not indicative of the kind of shooter he is. And there's a foul on Anderson.
You talk about picky fouls now. That foul was taking place all during the ball game, was never called. But you're in a critical situation in the ball game. Bradley's looking for the foul. Illinois State's looking to send Bradley to the line, but not Jimmy Les.
Jimmy Les from the free throw line this year is a 75% shooter. He's 0 for 1 tonight.
Jim Les to the line for Bradley. 1 August.
Hersey Hawkins leads. Bradley shooting 80% from the foul line. Then comes Les, 75%. Mike Williams has come back in the game for Bradley. Bertolini has sat down. They need Williams to play defense on the other end. Braxic has come in for Illinois State. They need him to play offense.
Illinois State is going to have to look for opportunities to score quickly, and Bradley is going to make it difficult for Illinois State to score without fouling.
Jimmy Les has hit crucial free throws all season. He seems to shoot better when something is on the line. Chance 2 there, and it's an 8-point Bradley lead. Well, that's it for Mike Williams. He questions the call. Williams checks out of the game. Bertolini will come in.
As a player, regardless of what side you're on, that's the way you have to play. You have to be aggressive, take the ball to the basket.
Number 3, Mike Williams.
Got the ball, definitely. They got Tony Hollifield a little bit on the follow-through.
A minute 11 to go. 66-58 Bradley. Mike Williams, for the second straight year, has fouled out playing here at the Horton Field House. Last year, picked up his 5th foul. on a charging foul. You may remember he went crashing into Bill Braxick. Actually, Brad Duncan it was. Mike couldn't believe it. ISU went on to win by 10 at home last season.
You know, it's strange, but when kids charge, they never can believe it.
Outfield misses the first shot. Tony still has that sprained thumb, or at least he's wearing tape to protect it.
Tony needs to get his legs into a shot a little more. Didn't dip very much. That really helps his follow through when he gets his legs in it.
Tony Hollifield makes it a 7-point game. He has 17 points for the Redbirds. Tony's season high came against Drake. He had 19. There you have it, a minute to go, a 5-point lead. ISU's pressuring all over. Here goes Les, one-on-one with Hollifield.
There's an example of some athletic ability.
Oh, Powell comes up with another block, his 6th block of the ball game. Terry, I just didn't want to say anything. It was such a pretty play down at the other end. The picture, as they say, was worth 1,000 words. Les with a beautiful pass to Hersey Hawkins. Les leads the Valley in assists. He's 6th in the nation. There's the play, Terry. Gorgeous. Les not even looking at Hawkins. Somehow he knew he was back there.
I'll tell you, Hawkins is up there a little bit on that play, isn't he? Did a really good job of running the floor, filling the lane, Les attacking the basket, dropped it inside.
Hersey Hawkins has played the entire way for Bradley, a player who really, what else can you say about him? A lot of people in the NBA are already scouting him and considering him a #1 first-round pick, no doubt about it. And with moves like that, you can see why just a sensational athlete.
Well, you know, I think the thing that really helps Hershey is that he has a good work ethic toward the game. And, you know, you can have all the talent in the world, and if you don't work at your game, at being the best player you can possibly be, then, you know, your possibility of success is really limited.
Last year, of course, the Tulsa Golden Hurricane under Nolan Richardson, they were the Missouri Valley Conference champion. Bradley trying to become the champion this year in the regular season. The winner of the tournament gets the automatic bid, of course. But I think Bradley with a 23-1 record tonight, if they hold on to this lead, which it looks like they will, they'll go to 24-1, and the Braves are practically assured of a spot in the NCAA tournament regardless of how they fare in the postseason event. Of course, the Braves want to keep tacking on those victories so they can go into the NCAA tournament seeded very high. Illinois State, on the other hand, will fall to 11-11 if they do fail to come back. 6-5 in the Missouri Valley Conference. The Redbirds, 6 games remaining, will need to go on a streak in an effort to keep their postseason streak alive. They've gone to 3 straight NCAA tournaments, and of course,
well, unless they're eliminated in a tournament, their postseason hopes will continue to be alive until that particular point in time. I think Illinois State has played extremely hard, going after the ball, has not played smart all the time, but is a very aggressive team and is developing into an outstanding ball team.
They played a sensational game against Southern Illinois last Thursday night. It was a lot of fun to watch these guys run up and down the court. And there's Sanders and the quick timeout. That makes it 68-63, and boy, they only used about 4 seconds off the clock.
That was a good shot by Derek Sanders, who just stepped up and Bradley wasn't putting a tremendous amount of pressure on him, and he was able to get the ball down with 44 seconds left and a 5-point difference. A lot can happen. You see the 45-second shot clock is off. It's no longer a factor. Illinois State will have to, if they don't come up with a steal on inbounds, at least foul to prevent a lot of time from running off the clock.
Derek Sanders now has 17 points, as does Tony Hollifield. Bill Braxick not a factor tonight, been in foul trouble ever since the early stages of this affair. As you see, Dick Versace plotting inbounds play. But Terry, I think you can see where Hollifield and Sanders have really picked up the slack. They knew they had to do it, and at the end of this season, even next year, you can look ahead where they're going to be quite a tandem, quite a forward tandem.
They play well together. I think Derek has, particularly early in the ball game, forced a lot of shots. Had not shot exceptionally well at halftime, where he was 2 for 10. He's got a few more to go down, but shooting percentage-wise, I don't think he has shot that well. Again, the problem is in completing plays. There are going to be so many opportunities presented in the ball game, and you have to take advantage of those opportunities when they present themselves. And Illinois State has not, where on the other end of the floor, I think Bradley has.
Each team has 1 timeout remaining.
If you had to pick a player of the game for Bradley, I guess you'd almost, without question, have to cast your vote for Donald Powell, who's picked up the slack for Mike Williams. When you talk about somebody picking up the slack, Caphorn fouls Jimmy Les, or is that on Anderson? And it's on Anderson, his second foul.
Well, you don't have much of an option because Jimmy Les is going to keep that ball in his hands for as long as he possibly can.
His second. It's 1-1.
Jimmy Les, a fine point guard who doesn't get the publicity of a Mark Price at Georgia Tech, but a player who, if you watch him weekly, you can see where he's just as good, and in some areas better than Mark Price, who gets all the pub. That's a 6-point Bradley lead. Dick Versace has yet to come out and say that he feels confident about winning this thing. The Missouri Valley regular season title, he won't until it's actually clinched.
Which is the wise thing to do.
Quite naturally, although 3 or 4 other coaches around the Valley have already conceded the fact they think Bradley, that's including Bob Donewald.
Well, the coach who is in that position to win it can't say he's going to win it.
Braxic missing a shot, less inside. I'll call that foul on Caphorn. Like you said, Terry, Les wasn't going to give that one up.
Bradley wants the ball in Les's hands. He's a very good free throw shooter. He got bumped a couple of times.
Illinois State foul 34.
That was definitely a foul on Matt Caphorn. He's got a foul in this situation.
That just shows you what a physical game it is. It's been like that the entire way. Unless these teams meet again in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament, the Bradley Braves will have swept this year's series in a rivalry that's being called a lot of times the I-74 rivalry. A lot of people consider it the biggest rivalry in the state of Illinois, and you can't really argue with that. The University of Illinois hardly plays anyone year after year. Certainly would be nice if they did play a Bradley, if they did play an Illinois State on a yearly basis. 17 points for the senior from Chicago. Pemberton comes in for Bill Braxic.
At 32, Cliff Peterson is back in, replacing Eric Sanders.
It just boils down to this, Doug. I think Bradley has completed more plays than Illinois State. Illinois State has had good opportunities to score in a variety of situations, but couldn't get the ball to go down.
Bob Donewald and Dick Versace have both been coaching at their respective schools for 8 seasons. It's been a sensational battle. Coach Donewald, after this one, will have an 8-7 advantage. There's a nice shot by Anderson. 15 seconds on the clock. Jerry Thomas in, wide open. Gets the easy one. It's now 74-65. Well, as the final second ticks off, there you have the final score. And you see the celebration.
The final score, Raptors 74, Illinois State 67.
Some boos coming down from the rafters, as you would expect in a rivalry as this one is. Bradley now a 14-game winning streak, a 15-game winning streak, I should say. They go to 24-1. That comes on the day they were announced to go up to 12th in the UPI poll. The Illinois State Redbirds on the losing end. They go to 11 and 11, 6 and 5 in the Missouri Valley. But Terry, this is just a fun game to watch.
Well, it was an exciting game, and I think Illinois State early was up to the challenge, but it got down to a point where they didn't complete plays and thusly weren't able to stay in with Bradley. You know, you talk about people who contribute. You have to look at Donald Powell, who did an excellent job. Trevor Trimpe, I thought, did a very good job in the first half. And at the top of the show, we talked about people who come through in difficult situations. Powell did tonight.
All right, standing by anxiously back at our home stomping grounds at Eyewitness News, Terry Scott, Bob Hetherington, Dan Pearson, and Vic Burnett. And we'll say goodbye. Doug Bell and Terry Scott from the Horton Field House. The final here, Bradley 74, Illinois State 67. So long, everybody.
Donald Powell with 15 points. And the leading